1 minute. Again, asking everyone to download the Just One Chesed app, and partner with us, make a donation, help us make more of these events possible. justonechesed.org/donation. We really appreciate it. Again, thank you to Yishai of Yerushalayim for allowing us, for partnering up with us to do this event and bring this to so many people. Inspire people to love Eretz Yisrael. Okay, just want to make sure we're live on Facebook. Again, if you have any friends that want to watch, right now we're maxed on the Zoom. If you have any friends that want to watch, go tell them to go to Facebook Live, Just One Chesed's account. Just One Chesed with one S, Just One CHESED account, and we are ready to go. Again, thank you to the Yishai of Yerushalayim for allowing us to do this program. Again, partner up with us, download the app, Just One Chesed in your local app store, make a donation, allow us to do more. Here we go, Yishai Fleisher. 1 second, Yishai, you need to turn on your video. Okay, Yishai, your video. 1 second, Yishai. I'm going to unmute you. 1 second. Okay, here it is. 1 second. Do you hear me, Yishai?
I hear you great, Joe, and it's really, really fun to be with you. Joe, don't forget to turn on the screen share. That's absolutely key. Okay, so let's make sure we have that.
I'm going to make you the host.
Great.
Okay, let me just shut off the chat. 1 second. The chat is shut off. And Yishai, don't forget to shut off remember what we talked about before.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much. Here we go.
All right.
Yishai,
one more bit of technical things. Let me just do what you told me, Joe. All right. Hi, everybody. Shalom. It's so great to be with you. It is so awesome to be with you here. And we're all locked in our houses. We're all stuck in our little places. But at the same time, Hashem, God Almighty, has given us a chance to visit the world through this technology. And today we're going to go to one of the oldest cities in the world. There's a few cities that are the same age. We're talking about, how old do you think I'm talking about? Oh, and by the way, I've noticed there's a lot of kids on today's Zoom. There's a lot of young people. And I have a feeling that a lot of parents want their young people to do something smart, get a little bit of education while we're stuck at home on our Corona vacation, coronavirus, Corona crisis, however you want to call it, Corona life. That's what I call it, Corona life. So I'm going to be gearing today's tour in large measure for young people as well. I'm sure a lot of people are smiling about that. And we're going to go to one of the oldest, as I said, one of the oldest cities in the world. How old, young people, how old do you think we're talking about? Are we talking about, let's say, recently I was driving, I was visiting the United States, and I was driving from California to Arizona. When I crossed over the border, it said, "Welcome to Arizona, celebrating 100 years." I a little bit laughed at that because Chevron, where I work, is much older than 100 years. So is it like 400 years old? Is it 1,000 years old? Is it like 2,000 years old when the Second Temple stood, when the Beit HaSheni stood in Jerusalem? Is it 3,000 years old? That's when King David came to the land of Israel and actually made Chevron his first capital. So, okay, I just gave it away. At least 3,000 years old. But it's actually even more than that. And I'll just, in order to get to our point, let's move forward. Here we go. The answer is Chevron is 4,500 years old. That's how long human habitation has taken place in this city. But the Jewish people came to Hebron 3,800 years ago, only 3,800 years ago. So by the time that Hebron, the first Jew came to visit Hebron, it was already a 700-year-old city. Wow. Think about that. Compare that to whatever cities you're at. does it add up? If you're like in Phoenix, Arizona, which is like 100-year-old city, we're talking about 3,800 years ago when Abraham came. It was already a 700-year-old city, so it's really, really old. It's really ancient, and that means it's got a lot of history, a lot of stories. And there's a deep Jewish story there, because you know that the main kind of thing that Chevron's all about is the Ma'arat HaMachpelah, or the tombs of the patriarchs and matriarchs. Let's go take a look at the tomb of the patriarchs and matriarchs. Let me just turn on the screen share here. Okay, first thing is, I hope everybody's seeing this. We're looking at a sign that actually the folks, sorry about that. We're looking at a sign that the Arabs in Chevron put up, which just says "I heart Chevron," and I like that picture. So I actually stood here where the Arabs have this sign. But we get our first kind of view of the Ma'arat HaMachpelah, and we see that there's a lot of soldiers there. What are these soldiers doing? Are they defending the tomb of the patriarchs and matriarchs? Are they defending Chevron? No, and not in this picture. In this picture, what we're really seeing is that these soldiers are doing one of their swearing-in ceremonies. And the reason that they're doing a swearing-in ceremony is because they're always looking for an important place to do a swearing-in ceremony. What's more important than the first place by the Jewish people in the land of Israel? And that's this spot, this very spot. And we'll talk about this building that is atop of that spot. But it was this spot, exactly where these soldiers are standing, that we see this is the place that Abraham purchased. Why did he buy it? What was the purpose of the purchase? What was the purpose of the purchase? Well, it was in order to bury his beloved wife, Sarah. You see, the thing is that Chevron is actually really about love. Love and honoring our mothers and our fathers, our spouses, our loved ones, and our family. And here you see a picture of the Ma'arat HaMachpelah, and it's got, I got to make sure, hold on a second, I see that somebody's annotating here, and I tried to turn it off before, Joe, but it didn't let me turn it off. So let me just make sure that I can stop the annotations. Joe, I wasn't able to turn off annotations, and I could see that somebody's already annotating on the screen for some reason. Yeah.
When you share your screen, you have to only when you share your screen you do the more, and then you take off annotation.
I'll do that right now. Thank you very much.
1 second, I have to give you back the host.
Thank you, Joe. All right.
1 second.
You guys are cute. You guys are cute writing on the screen. I appreciate that. That's okay. It makes sense to me. I would want to do that also. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, there's the more. Thank you. Disable attendee annotation. Very good. Okay, we got it. Thank you. Okay, so by the way, look at the Ma'arat HaMachpelah right now, and the tomb of the fathers and mothers. Check it out. Why does it have these big flags? Can anybody guess why it has these big flags going up and down? That's because we put up the flags for Yom HaAtzmaut, for Israel Independence Day. And I like to think that Ma'arat HaMachpelah likes to get dressed up. It likes to get dressed up for the Chag. Wow. I thought I turned off the annotations, and I see that it's not so easy to turn off the annotations. Maybe I turned it off. Okay, well, sad for us that. Let me just clear these annotations.
Guys, please be nice.
Joe, I did do what you said, but it still allows for some reason to this thing.
Is it off now?
Okay. I think I did it right. In any case, let's keep going. We have here, by the way, take a look at this amazing photograph. These are Orot Etzion girls from Gush Etzion, and they come to the tomb of the fathers and mothers in Chevron. Why do they do that? They come there every year in order to get their book of Bereshit. They get their book of Genesis, the first book in the Torah, and they receive it there. Why do they receive it there? Because in this building, underneath this building, is where the burial of the people who are the stars of the book of Bereshit. So there's no better place in the world. Imagine if people are watching from outside of the land of Israel. Imagine if you could come here and receive your book of Bereshit. And look at them dancing there on the grass. And this is one of my favorite places in the world because when I come there, I really feel like I am at grandma's and grandpa's living room. Now, for all of you young people out there, let's remember who's actually buried in Marat HaMachpelah. 3,800 years ago, 3,800 years ago, Avraham bought this plot of land to bury, as I was saying before, for love, to bury his beloved wife, Sarah. So Sarah was buried there. Then who was buried there after that? Actually, Abraham. And who buried Abraham there? His children. Who were his children? Yitzchak and actually Ishmael, the father of the Arabs. It's important to know that the father of the Arabs had an element of an impact in this place. The Arabs have an interest in this place as well because they see that Abraham is their father as well. So Abraham came to this place and buried his beloved wife. Then he was buried there. Then his sons buried him there. Who's the next person to be buried there? Yitzchak and his wife Rivka. Who buried Yitzchak? Yaakov and Esav. And then finally, who's the last person to be buried there? Leah was buried there, the wife of Yaakov. And then Yaakov was dying. Remind me for everybody, where was Yaakov dying? Where was he finishing off his life? It was in Mitzrayim. It was in Egypt. And in Egypt, he was laying there and he was about to pass away when he asked his sons, see all these children here? He asked his sons, hey, sons, please don't bury me in Egypt. Don't bury me in Phoenix. Don't bury me anywhere else. I want to be buried in Marat HaMachpelah in Chevron. So they brought him there. So that makes up the last of the couples. Avraham and Sarah, Yitzchak and Rivka, Yaakov and Leah. And I could feel that you guys around the world are saying to me, hey, there's one more couple. Hey, there's one more couple. And what's that couple? That couple, of course, is according to the Kabbalah and according to the Midrash, it's actually Adam and Eve, Adam v'Chava. Why is that important? Because Adam v'Chava are really the founders of humanity, and Abraham and Sarah are the founders of the Jewish people. So there's an element that comes together, which is a worldly interest, a global interest, and also a Jewish interest that comes together in this place. Right now, you're looking at a picture of the tomb of Leah. Excuse me, this is the tomb of Yitzchak. Well, it's not actually the tomb. That's an important thing that I have to make clear. The tombs are underneath the building. But when you go visit inside the building, there are markers. There are markers like this thing. These markers are called in English cenotaph. Cenotaph. Cenotaphs are markers that represent the person's burial, but it's not actually the place itself. The place is underneath the building. But when Herod built this building 2,000 years ago, on top of the tombs, he created these cenotaphs. We'll get to that in a second. So what we saw a second ago was women praying on women's side. And now we're seeing men. These are actually men who came. These are Sephardic men, Sephardi men. Why do I say that? Because this is during the Sephardi Slichot that happened during the Elul season right before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Now, this is in an area that usually we're not really allowed to go in today because today the building is split halfway between an Arab Muslim side and a Jewish side. And 10 days a year, the Arabs get full control of the building. And 10 days a year, we get full control of the building. Let me just make that clear to you. The building itself is split into two. There's a mosque on one side of it, and there's a place for Jews to pray on the other side. Jews and other Gentiles, Christians and stuff, they come to both the Jewish side and the Muslim side, but they feel more comfortable usually on the Jewish side. But usually we cannot go to the Muslim side and they don't come into our area. That's because of friction that has happened in the past. So what you see here is that there's a lot of Jews that came to pray, but they're actually inside the hall, which is usually the mosque. 10 days a year, 10 non-sequential. Non-sequential means not one day after the next, but throughout the year it's interspersed. We go into the whole building, and 10 days a year they go into our side. Notice before I showed you women, then I showed you Sephardi Jews, and here's a picture of Hasidic Jews, and they have certain days which is very important to them to come in. So they come in, and they too right now are in the what's called Isaac and Rebecca Hall of Ma'arat HaMachpelah, of the tomb of the fathers and mothers. The reason I show you those pictures is just to show you how many different kinds of Jews from different kinds of places are attracted to visit Ma'arat HaMachpelah. This is our famous friend and singer and Rabbi Shlomo Katz. And right there you see behind him the head of tourism in Chevron, Rabbi Simcha Hachbaum, and a great teacher as well. And he's singing, look above him, there's a sukkah. And so on Sukkot and on Pesach, usually we don't do things just on Zoom. Rather, we actually show up by the tens of thousands to Ma'arat HaMachpelah. But it's not only Jews that are attracted to this place. Here are folks from China. This is way before, this picture was taken a few years before the current crisis and the corona crisis. And these are Chinese Christians. And they told me that there are millions of Chinese Christians that want to visit Ma'arat HaMachpelah. I said to them, why are you here? Why is this place important to you? They said it's because it's the fathers and the mothers of our religion as well. So for anybody who really believes in the Torah, in what the Christians call the Old Testament, we don't call it that because we believe it's the only testament. But in any case, it's important for them as well. And here I want to take a moment to just describe to you the difference between the tombs below the building and the building itself. You see, I told you before that Abraham bought this plot of land 3,800 years ago. Then he buried Sarah there, and then the whole procession that I spoke about before. Then King David came to town about 3,000 years ago. He established his kingdom in Chevron. He was first a king in Hebron for 7 years before he moved to Yerushalayim, Kodesh Jerusalem, the heart of our peoplehood. But he made it also very holy by the fact that he spent time with the mothers and the fathers. It was his son built the first temple. The first temple was later destroyed. And then the Jewish people came back from Galut, from exile, and they came to the land of Israel, and they started building a second temple. And at the end of the second temple period, there came a leader named Herod the Great. He was a great builder, and he built the Kotel, the Western Wall, which is really part of the second Beit HaMikdash. He actually rebuilt the second Beit HaMikdash, second temple, and made it grand and huge. And he also built, 10 years before he started with the temple, he built this giant building on top of the tombs in order to honor the fathers and the mothers. That was 2,000 years ago. And if you look at the building, wow, it looks a lot like the Kotel. That's because the same guy built it. The same dude built it. His name is Herod. And so it's a Herodian building. But do you know what the big difference between this building and the Kotel is? The big difference is that the Kotel is just a remnant. It's just a remnant of a beautiful building that was there, but it's been destroyed. It's been destroyed. It's just a kind of memory of the second Beit HaMikdash. We certainly hope to see a third Beit HaMikdash there, and the Kotel will be the outside wall of a third Beit HaMikdash. The big difference is that Ma'arat HaMachpelah, this building, the tomb of the fathers and mothers, has never been destroyed. Never been destroyed. It's never been touched. It's actually only been added onto. And so it's very, very special because God never let this building be destroyed because it honors his most beloved people, Avraham and Sarah. Let's keep going. Oh, you know what these are? This is a group of New Olim from Nefesh B'Nefesh who came to Ma'arat HaMachpelah to visit Chevron and Ma'arat HaMachpelah. So this is an awesome group of folks. Look how happy they are. They're in our museum. We have a museum that talks about the 3,800 years of Jewish history in Chevron, and you can come tour it. This is what Pesach usually looks like at Ma'arat HaMachpelah and Chevron. This is what it looks like. Tens of thousands of people show up, and they just want to come and come and pray. And we also have a festival because we're always interested in bringing more people because we want to get away from people thinking that it's scary or dangerous or anything like that. We want people to feel like, wow, there's no place like home. There's no place like Ma'arat HaMachpelah. Here's another group of Jews. I just like this shot. This is, I take pictures a lot. And so here's a group of ultra-Orthodox Jews, and just they're at home just like any other Jew is, and really anybody who connects to Avraham and Sarah and the rest of the family. You know what I also love? I love Marat HaMachpelah at night. We actually have a technology called video mapping, which just means that you project all kinds of images onto walls, onto objects, and kind of even neighborhoods and buildings. And so here's a video mapping of Baruch Nachshon's art. He's a Chevron artist, and it's on Marat HaMachpelah. Let's see if we have another picture there. I think I have another picture in a second. So this is what we do sometimes to attract people at night to Marat HaMachpelah to visit the fathers and the mothers to make it feel nice. We also have great concerts that we connect. This is actually a women's concert because people want to pray and hear. Look, you'll see the Marat HaMachpelah behind. Here's some more pictures of video mapping. Marat HaMachpelah has got a lot of different colors. There was another picture I wanted to show you, but it didn't show up. Here, I want to show you something that's very important. Now, let's go inside the building. And when you go inside the building, you'll see behind this sign is a, well, it looks like a kind of tomb. It is a tomb, but it's really what I told you before. It's a cenotaph, which is a Greek word, but we prefer the word tomb monument, which is basically how we translate it, cenotaph. And look at this beautiful sign that we put up recently with English, which was a surprise because it had been only in Hebrew for a long time. And now people who read Hebrew sometimes don't understand what it says here. They say to me, it's kind of funny. People say to me, does it say Tzion, Avraham Avinu? Did Avraham Avinu have a first name and his middle name was Avraham? So was it Tzion, Avraham Avinu? No. Tziyun means a marker. And so in Hebrew, you say cenotaph, you say Tziyun, Avraham Avinu, the marker of Avraham Avinu, tomb monument for Avraham Avinu. And these are beautiful signs. And here's another one, for example, for the tomb monument of our matriarch Sarah. Now, if you go inside the building, you will see something that I think is the most amazing part of the whole story. The most amazing part is that Avram and Sarah are buried right across from one another, and their cenotaphs are right across from one another, because it's about couples. It's about love. It's about couples that came together to build a family and give birth to a nation. All right, I'll just pause the video for a second just to say hi to all of you with my face. Hi, this is Yishai. I'm the international spokesman for the Jewish community of Chevron, and I'm having a great time with Joe and the Just One Chesed organization, and our organization, the Hebron Fund, hebronfund.org, really sharing this with you. And let's get back to Marat HaMachpelah.
1 second, Yishai. Facebook shut off. I'm just connecting it. 1 second.
Okay, and I also need the screen sharing back if possible.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm just connecting it to Facebook. Everyone's
no problem. No problem.
No
problem. So I'll just talk about what I was. You can break in anytime. I just wanted to say that this idea that the couples are buried right next to one another, right across from one another, and about building a family, goes to show you what the power of Marat HaMachpelah is. It's really about the family of the Jewish people. If you want to come to Yerushalayim and you want to pray your heart out at the Western Wall or at the tomb of Rachel, that makes a lot of sense because you're really connecting right to God. When you come to Chevron, you're connecting to the founders. Not as much, like the focus on God is at the Kotel. In Chevron, it's on the people who followed God and also the people who purchased the plot in the land of Israel. Yes, Joe, do I hear you there?
Yeah, I think we're good. 1 second. Let me just make sure that Facebook is good. 1 second.
It does say that you're live on Facebook as well on my screen.
Okay.
Is this fun, folks? Are we having fun? I hope you're having fun. Joe, I need that screen sharing back, please.
Yes. Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just make sure the annotation's off also.
I'll do my best.
Okay, you're back.
All right, let's go back to screen sharing. And 1 second, I have to turn off annotations. No, it says that everybody's off. So, okay, here we go. So this to me is very moving. Here's another one of my favorite. I don't have the time to give a shir today about why Rebecca or Rivka is one of my favorite characters in the whole Tanakh. I don't have the ability to do that, but right now. But if you ever wanted to, you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to give you that shir. She's one of my favorite characters, and here's her tomb in Chevron. And here's Sion, not Sion, but Sion, Yaakov Avinu. You could see it through this gate. Now, just an interesting thing, if we're already touring inside Marat HaMachpelah, I want you to know that originally these markers, which are original to the building, did not have walls around them and this kind of gate and window. Didn't have anything. It was open directly to the heavens, and there was no ceiling, and there was nothing except for a floor, which is there today, a 2,000-year-old floor, and these tombs or cenotaphs or markers were open to the heavens. Do you know why? Do you know why they weren't? There was no roof, because originally when it was built, there was a big concern that people would pray to the tombs, like Avram Avinu, please heal me. Well, we're not allowed to do that as Jews because that would be idolatry. Avram Avinu cannot heal you. There's only one healer, that's God above. So there was a fear that if there would be a roof, then you would pray to, then you wouldn't look up to heavens. You would just look to Abraham's tomb. So there was no ceiling, no roof, and you just looked up to heavens. But the Chevron weather is intense. We have there cold, snow, and we have very hot summers and cold winters. And so over time and over the generations, and when different people controlled it, they added these different rooms. Today we use that as well because we want more people to come and feel comfortable there. All right, this is how the old sign used to look like. And you see what it says, Avraham Zaken, Abraham is old, Bab Yamim, he fulfilled his days. Hashem Berechet Avraham Bekol, Hashem gave Abraham everything, and now he's going to pass it on to his son Yitzchak. And that's the biblical blessings. Here's just some more pictures of people coming to Marat HaMachpelah. This is a very special picture. I'm going to just pause for a second here. Now, all of you folks that love the Torah and love reading the Torah know that there's a special Torah portion that talks about Abraham's purchase of Marat HaMachpelah to bury Sarah. That's called a Torah portion, very beautifully named, not the death of Sarah, but rather the life of Sarah, Chayei Sarah. Now, on that Shabbat, Chayei Sarah, that Torah portion, we have about 20,000 people come for Shabbos. 20,000 people come for Shabbos. And our friends at Chabad, they put up a big tent, and they feed about 3,000 people in their tent on that Shabbat. And we do so much, the Jewish community of Chevron, the Chevron Fund, we do so much to host people and to feed people and to make sure that everybody's warm and safe and that the soldiers are having a good time. We'll talk about soldiers in a second. But that's a very special Shabbos, and I hope all of you who are listening today will get a chance to come for Chayei Sarah one year. This is when the French Jews come. There's one day a year where the French Jews, they come and they feel like they need to visit in Marat HaMachpelah. And this is a picture of Marat HaMachpelah at night. The army took this picture at night on Chayei Sarah. Look at how many tents there are. Look at how many people are around. Look at the beautiful building. I love this picture so much. Give me 1 second, friends. Malka, if I can ask for the electricity, I'd appreciate it for the computer. For the charger. All right, sorry, I had to ask for my wife for the charger. God bless her. Now I want to turn to a different issue. Like, did you get enough of this picture? Because it's my favorite picture. I even made my business card with this picture. I want you to take a look at the following pictures because there's another issue that's so important to us in Chevron, and that's the soldiers. You know, the Jewish community of Chevron is only 85 families. 85 families keep this place open for the rest of us. Okay, 85 families keep this place open for the rest of us. And so you have soldiers that actually protect the family members, and they also protect all of us and help us keep this place open for Jews and friends of Israel from all over the world. We actually have over 1 million visitors every single year. So the soldiers are very, very important to us. And this is one of the female soldiers just watching. She's sitting on a kiseh shel Eliyahu. I like this picture a lot. Here's some of the border police folks that come in and they protect the Jewish community of Hebron and make sure that everybody's safe, including Jews, including Arabs, including all the tourists, the 1 million tourists that come every year. So this is a great picture. Here's some volunteers but there's an organization called SAR-L, which brings older volunteers from all over the world. And I was touring them, so that was a lot of fun. All right, these are young people from Sderot, also learning Torah at Marat HaMachpelah. These are more of these Efrat kids. from the school called Orot Etzion. They're also receiving their chumash. And so everybody around the world comes in, and that's why the soldiers are so important to us, and that's why we have to keep them fed and happy and also even safe and away from the elements. A lot of times they need coats and stuff like that we provide for them. This is one of the most incredible pictures I think I ever took, which is, if you see, it looks like an Oreo cookie. On this side, you got the kids and the fathers put a big, beautiful talit to bless the children who were receiving the Torah, and above it you could see the tomb of the fathers and mothers in Chevron, the Marat HaMachpelah. All right? This is more of that kind of dancing. Here's more of the lady folks coming in and praying on their side. These are the French Jews again. Maybe I had too many pictures of this, but look what a group of people can do when they come together to walk in Hebron fearlessly and with love. Look at this display of Jews. All of these Jews are French Jews. They made Aliyah from France, and they came up to the land of Israel to live, and here they are showing their love and support for Hebron. This picture is very important because it's messianic in the sense that, Mashiach, according to one place in the Torah, Mashiach is supposed to come kind of on a white donkey, and here's one of our soldiers kind of kidding around, but he got on this white donkey, and it's just one of my favorite pictures. All right, and here's something that doesn't happen today right now because of the limitations of the coronavirus. Here's soldiers during the month of Elul blowing the shofar. This guy right here in the middle, between all these soldiers, is a guy named Pete Hegseth from Fox, and he was with me in Chevron, and a special about Jews living in Judea and Samaria just came out yesterday on Fox News, and here he is with the soldiers. Okay, this is the folks at Chabad of Chevron. Guess what they're doing? Chabad work. Chabad actually came to Chevron in the very early 1800s, and this is Rabbi Danny Cohen doing great work and keeping the soldiers connected to the story of the Jewish people in Yiddishkeit. We also have a lot of important people that the Jewish community of Chevron brings, and here's an example. This is the former Justice Minister Ayelet Shaked, and she's coming to Chevron. Look, she's wearing the Chevron is 50, and what I mean 50, of course, Chevron is really 3,800 years old for the Jewish people, but since we renewed Jewish life in Chevron in 1967, so we made this, the Chevron Fund and the Jewish community of Chevron made this fleece with the Chevron 50 sign on it. All right, these are more Knesset members. It's one of my good friends from the Likud. Here's Ophir Akunis, also a former science minister. This is the former mayor of Jerusalem, and he's in town also. My good friend, former ambassador to the United States from Israel. And of course, who's this? This is a rare selfie that I got with Prime Minister Netanyahu. And he asked me to take a selfie with him, and so I obliged. I said, okay, no problem. I'll take some time out of my busy schedule, take a selfie with you. No, that's not true. he acquiesced to my request of the selfie. He came to Chevron recently to mark something that happened, a very bad thing that happened in 1929, when there was a horrible Arab riot in Chevron that killed 67 Jews and basically destroyed the Jewish community. We have tried to give rebirth. We have given rebirth to the Jewish community of Hebron, and that's what he came to celebrate. 100 years, excuse me, no, not 100 years. It was 90 years since the 1929 massacre, and he came in, Prime Minister Netanyahu, to commemorate that and also to celebrate renewed Jewish life in Hebron. Here he is next to the sevenths. Were allowed to pray, only Jews were allowed to pray here for 700 years. When the Mamluk Muslims came in the year 1267, they stopped Jews from being able to go inside the building. They said, hey, Jews, get out. But we said, what do you mean? It's our building. A Jewish king built it, and it's the tombs of our fathers and mothers. They said, we don't care. You're a tiny minority. You have no rights here. You can only pray outside on a staircase on a step called the seventh step. Well, That was the horrible state that we lived in for 700 years until from 1267, exactly 700 years, till 1967, when the place was liberated and Jews got a right to pray there again. So that's very, very important. And here he is marking that important spot. Okay, there is a good friend of ours, Ben Shapiro, a great American commentator and broadcaster. And I have a hunch that he might actually be on this Zoom right now. And he's a great man, and he's doing great things. And he also came to HaMachpelah himself and prayed with us there. I think it was Sukkot, wasn't it? It was Sukkot. And here he is praying at the tomb of Isaac and Rebecca, that hall, which is only open 10 days a year. And here's my selfie. He asked me again to take a selfie with him. So I said, okay. No, I asked him. And if he is on this call, we really love you and appreciate you so much, Ben, for all the good work you're doing. And God bless your family and your new baby. Here's near Barkat. Oh, here's an important picture. It's not just Jews. These are prime ministers and parliamentarians from all around the world. They were brought together with the Christian Allies Caucus. And here's the mayor of Efrat, Oded Revivi, touring them. And look how well you could see that this is just like the Kotel. Again, what's the difference between this stone and these stones? Some of them weigh over 400 tons. 400 tons. Young people, can you imagine that? If this landed on a person, it would just crush them to smithereens. It's so heavy. We barely know how they were able to construct such a building. But look at the famous framed Herodian stone. Okay, Herodian stone. And what did I say to you before? The magic of Ma'at HaMachpelah, the tomb of the fathers and mothers, is that it never got destroyed. It's still whole today. And there's nothing that gives nachas. Do you know the word nachas? Which means like to give a great feeling of comfort to the fathers and mothers. There's no nachas like seeing his children, his sons and his daughters, seeing their children, their sons and their daughters playing in their balcony, if you will, on their grass of the founders of our peoplehood. Here are the daughters. All right, but Chevron is not only Ma'at HaMachpelah, it's also other things. For example, we have a synagogue in Chevron in one of our Jewish neighborhoods called the Avraham Avinu Synagogue. And this synagogue was built in the year 1540, almost 400 years ago, 380 years ago. What am I talking about? My math is off. This Corona thing is corroding my mind. We're talking 1540 was about 500 years ago, 480 years ago. Gosh, sorry about that. Chalk it up to the situation and to Pesach and eating too much matzah. In any case, the Avraham Avinu Synagogue is one of my favorite places in Hebron. It's a great place to pray. And you know what? It's the same synagogue that's been around since 1540, but in the year 1929, hold on one second, the year 1929, it was destroyed. Really destroyed a little bit after that, but after the Jews were kicked out in 1929, the synagogue was destroyed. And in 1979, we rebuilt it. We rebuilt it exactly to the way it was before. So when you come to Chevron and you finish with Ma'at HaMachpelah, come to the Beit Knesset, the synagogue of Avraham Avinu. So that last picture I showed you was from how long ago? From about 500 years ago. But here is a mikvah, which is a ritual purification bath for workers from 2,000 years ago. This was discovered in Tel Romeda, Tel Chevron area, which is at the top of the mountain. This is where the original Chevron was. And guess what? Jews of Chevron didn't just study Torah all day. They also worked the land and worked the fields. They had grapes and olives, and they made pottery. And in order to do that so that they could use it in the Beit HaMikdash, they used to have these big mikvahs. Now, Chevron gets very cold, so I would have loved to see the tens of men jumping into that mikvah, freezing early in the morning, and the boss just making sure that they're all coming out pure. That's exactly the way it used to be. We also have there, Chevron is, of course, the mothers and the fathers. It's this work site that I showed you from 2,000 years ago. It's also the Avraham Avinu Synagogue, but it's also the tombs of Ruth and Yishai. Ruth is the great-grandmother of David HaMelech, Yishai, the father of David HaMelech, they are buried in Chevron. Did you know that? It's a beautiful tomb there. And people come there exactly during this season in a lead up to the holiday of Shavuot, where we learn the book of Ruth, because we want to hear about the lineage of King David. So we go up to this place, which is really the fathers and mothers of King David, Ruth, the famous convert, the Gioret, and Yishai, the tzaddik. I'm named after him because I'm also such a tzaddik. Kever Ruth Yishai is in Chevron. Come and visit it because it's really a very holy place, and it's a great place to say one of King David's most famous writings, which is the Psalms, Tehillim. We say Tehillim there in the place that many of the Tehillim were probably written, because this place is not only the tomb of Ruth Yishai, but it's also the place where we think King David's castle is, and we hope we find it one day soon. Here's some more pictures of that area. All right, we have a lot of ancient stuff in Chevron, a lot of digs. Jews lived there in all the different periods, from 3,800 years ago to 3,000 years ago to 2,000 years ago, and in the Middle Ages. This is one of the 2,000-year-old pictures where Jews had houses and also would cultivate grapes and smash grapes into wine. We found about 5 of these seals. These are like markings that a king or a ruler would leave when he was in control of a place, and this sign of an eagle has underneath it in ancient Hebrew script, but in plain Hebrew, the language is the same Hebrew of today, but the script is different, and it says LaMelech Chevron. LaMelech Chevron. That's what it says underneath. LaMelech, to the king in Hebron. Does that mean that there was a different king in Hebron? No, it means it's the king's property in Hebron. It says that in Hebrew. There were a lot of other languages from 2,900 years ago. That's when the seal is from. But that is the language that we found was in Hebrew. So we think it's from the Hezekiah period. Some of the folks that come from the King David line. I think it's 6 o'clock, so I want to make sure I don't step on anybody's feet in terms of time. We're going to keep going a little bit. All right, let's keep going. Here's a great picture of the Avraham Avinu synagogue, which I was telling you about. And here's young people also. This is actually my good friend Alex Trim. His son was having a bar mitzvah there, and this is my good friend Aryeh Bramowitz from the Aragot farm. Oh, this is maybe the last thing I wanted to tell you. You're going to hear that we have a lot of tension with Arabs in Hebron, and there are some Arabs who, sadly, don't think that Jews have rights. They don't believe in our Torah, and they don't believe in our history so much. So therefore, they don't think we have rights there, and that's really too bad because that causes conflict because we know our rights and we know our history. But there are other Arabs in Hebron who think very differently, who think that the Jews have every right to be there, that Israel is a great entity, a great thing, something that will give them an opportunity for a decent life. So this Arab in the middle is a good friend of mine. His name is Sheikh Ashraf Jabri, and he's a very important clan leader. And he's one of the Arabs that controls about 40,000 Arabs in Hebron, and he wants to have excellent relations with us. So I just want you to know that there are some also excellent relations with Jews, with Arabs and Jews in Hebron as well. I just want to show you that if you drive in Israel, throughout Israel, you will see signs that say this way towards Marat HaMachpelah, towards the tomb of the fathers and mothers, in terms of the patriarchs and matriarchs. And you will see there that there is, what is the sign on the right? It's a sign for a synagogue and a mosque, because today it really is a sign of a synagogue and a mosque. And remember that Abraham and Ishmael, that Yitzchak and Ishmael did both bury Abraham, so maybe that's a sign towards that. Let's see what else. I just want to tell you that recently my daughter turned 12, which means it was time for her bat mitzvah. And when you have a bat mitzvah, you have a celebration. And I had the big zchut of having the bat mitzvah at Marat HaMachpelah. My wife and I organized the Marat HaMachpelah. One of the things that we really wanted was some fireworks, but it was hard to organize it. So I turned to some of my Arab friends, that same sheikh, and I said, you guys are great at fireworks. You fire fireworks all the time. So how about you shoot some fireworks for my daughter's bat mitzvah? They said, sure, absolutely. They made me pay only for the fireworks, which were relatively cheap, and they did it for free, just so I could enjoy it. It wasn't just that one firework that you see over my head. Rather, it was many, many fireworks. It was really a beautiful thing. So there's really an opportunity for understanding one another. Here's actually Arab kids walking in Chevron, and look at them waving to one of our soldiers. He's making sure that the Jewish people, the tourists, and the Arabs are safe. And here's young people in Chevron walking past and appreciating the work that he's doing for everybody. I'm towards the end, so don't worry. I'm not going to go over time too much. But as a good Jewish person, I will be somewhat late. In any case, I wanted just to show you that recently on Hanukkah, an addition came to HaMachpelah, and that is this beautiful Chanukiah. This beautiful Chanukiah on top of HaMachpelah. It's there all the time now, and I think that it adds a lot, because if you look at the building without it, then you see these two minarets, which are actually Muslim. They were built in 1267 by the Mamluks. You also see a part over here, you can't see it in this picture, you see a Crusader wall. So you see the markings of other peoples, but you don't necessarily realize that this is a Jewish site. Of course, the building itself is very, very Jewish, built by a Jewish king, King Herod, over the tombs of the fathers and mothers. But this beautiful Chanukiah, which was added recently, I think adds a lot. Oh, there's another picture of it. I think this is like a nighttime picture when it was, when I think I blew it up or something. Anyway, it's like lit up. It has lights on it. It's really a lot of fun. All right. Oh, there it is. There it is again. And there's all kinds of Jews and friends of Israel walking around, and you could see what a beautiful sight it is to see that Chanukiah lit. It's really something else. Here's actually a video. I don't know if we'll be able to play it. Oh, 1 second. Let's try it. There you go. 1 second. Here they go. Here's some fireworks. That's right. Some of the fireworks at my daughter's bat mitzvah. And that is something, those fireworks represent the return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel and our ability to really celebrate together there. Speaking of celebrations, right towards the end here, we actually also have a lot of weddings. We have weddings at HaMachpelah. Guess what? In the year 2002, when it was still problematic, I got married to my beloved wife, Malka, at HaMachpelah. Here's a kala. I caught a picture of her as she was taking pictures before her wedding. So we have a lot of marriages. And you know what else we have a lot of? Brit milah, a lot of circumcisions. Why would somebody want their child to, their 8-day-old son to be circumcised in Chevron? Because it's called Brit Avram Avinu, the covenant of Avraham. So you want to do that right next to Grandpa Avraham. This was a gray day, but still the sun was shining. This was very recently, and it also reminded me that we turn to God through the auspices of the fathers and mothers. We pray in the merit of the fathers and mothers that we get through this coronavirus, that the death will stop, that this plague will stop, that no more people will be taken. And so I thought that this picture, which was not tampered with, just a gray background of sky and at the same time sun shining upon it, reminded me of the situation that we're in. And within the Jewish community of Chevron, we are trying very hard to hear your prayers and send them on forward. So if you go to our website, hebronfund.org, there's like a prayer form that you could fill out, and we will say prayers for you, or God forbid, Kaddish for you, at HaMachpelah, and that way you can really stay connected, feel connected until the next time you get there. All right? That's me on the right, and those are women from an Aish women's tour. And it just goes to show you that the mothers and the fathers show up to Chevron to connect with the original mothers and fathers. So that is Chevron, maybe in a nutshell. And there's so much to really explore in Chevron. It's a place of love. It's a place of love. At the same time, it's a place that's challenged by a lot of bad guys who want to uproot us. Why would they want to uproot us? Because the people who hate Israel understand that the root of Israel is in HaMachpelah, the root of the Jewish people. And a lot of people from all over Israel, even secular Jews, come to Chevron because they want to reconnect with the roots. And I hope that you come and connect with the roots. When you're with One Chesed, you're connecting with helping other people, and that's the roots of our people, because we're a people of Chesed. When you come to Chevron, you're connecting with the fathers and mothers. Check out our website, hebronfund.org, and come connect with us always. And we're always there to connect with you and to share with you the mothers and the fathers. We are their protectors, and you are their children, whoever you are. So come see us again soon in Chevron. Joe, thank you very much. I hand the mic over.
Thank you so much, Yishai. That was incredible. Thank you so much, Yishai, with the Torah of Hebron. Thank you so much.